Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the It's OK Kid podcast. This podcast is a weekly dose of clarity and self development. If you're into personal growth, fitness, and occasional funny story, then this podcast is for you. So, today's episode, I'm going to talk about feeling stuck, frustrated, feeling trapped in a situation, any kind of situation, maybe looking for a new direction in life, whether it be your job, relationships, or whatever. I'm going to give you a series of tools today. If you're struggling, if you use these tools, then you'll definitely get better. That's my guarantee. So a wee bit of background to me. I found myself a couple of years ago in that situation. Overweight, trapped, was in a bad relationship, nobody's fault, but kind of struggling at work, feeling depressed, slightly anxious, and found myself at therapy. Had to change my environment, moved back to Scotland, split up a relationship, like I've said, young kid involved. So not in a very good place, but going to therapy and using the tools I'm going to share with you today brought me here today to share my story with you, start a podcast, start something new. So that's the kind of background to me. A few things that happened to me prior to that kind of drew my attention to, and you can use these too, was going to therapy. Big shout out to Doreen, she helped me piece myself back together. But during the conversations I was having with Doreen, she kind of flagged that I was good at rationalising, seeing people's points of view, and offered that up as a career choice. Have you ever thought about a career in therapy? Now I was the person at therapy, and she's offering this up as a job during the conversations, which is great. But I'm a qualified coach with my work. I work in the railway, and they put me through this because you're dealing with people, managing people. But I'd never thought about it as a job until now, and it was quite good because that's somebody that you don't know, total stranger, looking at you, speaking to you, probably when you're not your best, and spotting something in you that you didn't spot in yourself at that time due to the state you were in, basically. So that kind of brought it to my conscious, and then obviously you're looking for stuff to back up what Doreen's saying. So the second thing that happened was I follow a guy on Instagram called Jesse Itzler. He's amazing, motivational speaker. He's brilliant. He's really good to follow. But he always talks about these Japanese concepts, and one of them's ikigai. Find your ikigai. He promotes the book. He never wrote it, but he loves the concept of that. And ikigai is something. It's a Japanese concept, but it's something that you love. Doing something that you love. Doing something that you're good at. Doing something that solves a problem in the world, and doing something you can be paid for. So this book Ikigai, the people travel to Okinawa. Now Okinawa in Japan is the happiest place to live in the world, not just for scenery, but the people in it, and they live the longest. There's loads of centurions, which is people that have lived to 100 and beyond. And the book's just a series of interviews, and quite a lot of them talk about this concept of Ikigai, of community and purpose. So that kind of made me take a step back and go, Christ, Doreen said that to me, like, am I doing what I love? Probably not. Am I doing something that I'm good at? Yes. I'm obviously getting paid for it, but does the world need it? I'm not sure. And then the third thing that happened, which brings all this together, was Simon Sinek was on the High Performance podcast. Now Simon's a kind of thought leader. He wrote the famous book Find Your Why. He goes into kind of businesses and talks to the leaders, and he's a really good communicator, and he helps the revenue push up. But he wrote this famous book called Find Your Why. And Jake Humphries was asking him, see, like, for the people listening to this podcast that are maybe looking for a bit of direction, or looking for in a job that they're not happy with, and they're looking for something to do, is there an exercise you can give them that would help them obviously fix the situation they're in, or maybe bring up new ideas? And he says yes. So he said, think of a day that you would repeat over and over in your work. Think of a day back, can be anything. Think of a day that if that was your work day, every single day, you would be happy with. So for me, that was coaching, going through the qualification, and as a result of that, I was coaching people in the work alongside my job. They would release you, you'd meet up with a series of clients in the work, and you would take them through problems, anything for relationships, going for a new job, maybe can't stick to their goals, want to lose weight, and awkward conversations. They're maybe wanting a few tips in that. Now, I love that because you see the end result. Not everybody got a result because some of them didn't stick to what they said they were going to do, but the majority of them progressed, and you could see the change in them because coaching's leading somebody, series of questions leading somebody, so they're solving their own problems, so you can see the actual change in somebody. So that kind of sparked my interest in that side of it. I need to do more of that. But also, as you can tell, I love talking. So that brought me on. Maybe I could go on and speak about that in a podcast, speak about what I've done over the last couple of years to get myself back to the person that I used to be. So that's what these episodes are going to be about. There are going to be a few episodes on a different topic, which I've done, that kind of brought me here. Anyway, back to the tools. So, even if you're not trapped or you're not stuck, but you're just feeling a bit unmotivated, there's 3 things that you can work on that everybody should be working on, and that's your body, that's your relationships, and that's your self. Body's self-explanatory, easy for me to say. That's your exercise, that's your diet, and it's your sleep. Now, I'm not a fitness coach. I'm somebody that does Thai boxing at amateur level. I used to fight, used to compete. And then I've also been at the other end of it where I've been overweight, unhappy, not doing a thing. So back into my training, and by the way, this is 85%. See, if you're focusing on these 3 things, think about a time when you felt your sexiest, think about the time when you felt your best, and you've probably been moving your body, eating correctly, and getting enough sleep. That's what you need to go back to. The second thing is your relationships. You know, you need to take the initiative in this. Your relationships is your friends, your family, your work colleagues. Make that call, repair that relationship if you need to. Make the phone call, but you need to take the initiative. You can't be sitting there waiting on them doing it because it might never happen. And you might be stuck in the maze, thinking about them all the time, wishing you could make the call. Bite the bullet and connect with people. Moving back to Scotland for me helped me reconnect. Not that I wasn't connected with my friends, but you were in it. You were in with people that love you, people that care about you, people that can see you going through a tough time. It makes a world of a difference. And if they see, I can't speak there, if they see you making an effort, then they'll be inclined to reciprocate. And honestly, it just makes you feel better, makes you feel connected again. And the third part is yourself, your unconscious mind. Your brain isn't a storage unit. It's not meant to have all this stuff in it, and that was my problem. I was going round and round, stuck in a maze, inner critic telling me I wasn't good enough, you're overweight, you're never going to get this. This happens to other people, it doesn't happen to you. You need to get in touch with what's going on inside you. It's hard for a guy for the west of Scotland. As hard as that seems. You need to get a pen out. This is the exercise, by the way, just so as we're clear. Get the pen out and start writing. And I'm not telling you to journal, we'll come on to that in a minute, but just start writing, write anything, because you need to know what's going on inside your head. Something will come out, and that's what you tune into and go, right, I didn't know that was there, and then start going, right, is that true? Thoughts are not facts. Is that true? What I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, is it true? Look for the evidence, and start asking yourself better questions like, how am I feeling today? And start kind of getting in touch with what's going on inside your head. And the only way to do that is by writing it all down and then tackling it one by one. Right, that's come out, let's think about that. Is that true? It might be, it might not be. If it is true, then you can start working towards it, but get back in touch with yourself. But your body, your relationships, and yourself, what's going on in your head. You're tackling these 3 things, honestly, you'll start to feel better straight away. It was really good for me to start that, the therapy, working on, some people call it life force. There are 3 pillars. It's your body, yourself, and the people around about you. The other thing, these are extra tips, the other thing that really helped me and hopefully helps you, and you don't need to do them all, it's just my opinion only, be intentional in who you tell. Because myself, when I started working and I started getting back, and I work in the railway, have done for years, and I'm talking about coaching. and I'm talking about podcasts, right? I spoke about podcasts all the time with my friends. I've always wanted to start one, conversations down the pub, saying if we could just put that on camera, which is obviously harder than it seems, then we'd be millionaires. But be careful who you're telling what you're going to do, because not everybody is on board, or not everybody cares. Nobody's really got time. I'm friends with my friends because they're my friends. I love their company. But would I take every single one of my friends' advice? Probably not. So pick out your champions. Pick out the ones if it's your mum and dad, it's your mum and dad. For me, it's not my mum and dad. For me, it's my partner Lisa, who's a massive cheerleader. You only need one or two. And if you've not got that, kind of search the topic on Facebook and join communities on there with like-minded people. But you're going to need a bit of motivation to do this. Somebody that's going to hold you accountable. For me, like I says, it's my partner Lisa, and it's a couple of my friends. I told them about this, they're really supportive, and then they give you the kick up the backside. You need to take action. The second extra tip for me is the one that nobody wants to talk about because it's hard. If some of you do it, great, but journaling. Honestly, it doesn't need to be War and Peace, but see if you can just get out on paper a few things that you need. How am I feeling? What I've learned today, a wee bit of gratitude. Look for gratitude throughout the day. I know it's hard, but you start to get used to it and you start spotting stuff that you're thankful for. And you can't just always go your kids, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever. You can't do that. It's the small things, like being fit enough, healthy enough to have exercise, just as an example. And even just maybe a to-do list for the next day. Top 3 things that you're going to get done so you can start trying your progress. And that's another thing. Track what you're doing. Journaling, diary, MyFitnessPal, track, because you can see MyFitnessPal's free for your food, if it's your body and it's your nutrition. Journaling, because you can flick back through the year and look where you started and look where you're going to end, and see your progress, which is unbelievable. I'm a totally different person for when I was a couple of years ago. And also the kind of other things that I would suggest for you is like a new activity. Lisa does wild swimming. I've jumped on the bandwagon with that, so we do that every week. We go wild swimming. Not for the health benefits, it's more for me doing hard stuff. See, before you go in, my brain goes crazy with fucking, there's no chance we're getting in here, but having to overcome that and get yourself in the water, you never regret a run, you never regret a wild swim. But it doesn't need to be that. Learn the guitar, poetry, whatever it is, try and learn a new skill, because it breeds confidence, and that's what we're looking for here. I've just started meditation, so I won't bore you with the details on that, because sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But listen, hey, we're not perfect, we're a work in progress. So that's it for me today. If you want to hit me up, it's Ryan Monty on Instagram, it's Ryan Monty on TikTok, and I will be creating an Instagram for It's Okay Kid podcast. And then obviously this is uploaded to YouTube. So thanks for listening. The second episode will be out in a week, and we'll be covering another thing that helps you along the way. Okay? Cheers.